My name is Catherine. This is my wife, Trish, and we have a 3-year-old daughter named Priscilla. I'm at home with her all day, but then I teach piano in the evenings, and Trish is at work all day.
Till 3, I work for a bank in marketing, and then at 3 o'clock I come home and I take over the parenting duties from Catherine.
We adopted Cilla when she was 9 months. She was living with her foster mom at the time, and her foster mom had taken her home from the hospital because her birth mother was unable to care for her. Cilla was born dependent on drugs. When we first brought her home, we noticed that she would have huge temper tantrums when we would leave her. And I don't mean by leaving the house. I mean, she would be in the living room and we'd get up to get a cup of coffee and she would start having a temper tantrum because she was so distraught that we were going to leave her. Because a lot of people don't realize that babies suffer loss. They think, oh, they don't remember. But at that point, she'd already suffered from 2 major losses, one from her birth mom and one from her foster mom. She was having trouble meeting her milestones. She didn't crawl until she was 13 months. She didn't stand until she was 18 months. And she finally walked 4 days before her 2nd birthday because she wanted to beat that, I'm sure of it, because she has trouble telling us her needs. So when we first brought her home, she was basically just screaming. She would just scream. And if we didn't understand what she wanted, she would scream more. And she would scream louder. And she would scream with more intensity. And she would cry so much that she would vomit. Learning how to talk was a big thing for her. And she's doing better now. We use some sign with her. And she goes to speech therapy.
We adopted Priscilla through Children's Aid. As part of the process, we had to give them an idea of the type of child we were looking for and what age range. And we initially said 0 to 12 years old. Ideally, we were looking for a girl having, same-sex marriage. We went through the process, and they give you a lot of training through Children's Aid. They talk about the different challenges that you can encounter with adopting. And we got the call from our caseworker that there was an 8-month-old girl in the Toronto area that was coming up for adoption. Would we consider her? We were given her paperwork about her background and kind of knowing she was coming from a birth mom that was dependent on drugs. But we said yes right away, of course. And typically, they want us to go and meet with her and her foster family, which we did. And I don't think they were expecting us to kind of make a decision right away. They want you to meet the child and kind of talk about it. But we went home that night and we were like, we got to order the crib, we got to do this. So we were already done. Like she was ours the first time we met her. We were just ours. Yeah, we just fell in love with her at first sight.
Cilla is very feisty. She's very determined to have her own way. And that's actually served her really well because of all of the hardships, not hardships, but maybe hurdles that she's had to go through. She loves music. She loves to play the piano. She loves to dance. She loves to go out places. She's very, very social. The first thing she says in the morning is, go, go, go. She wants to know where we're going that day.
I think have realistic expectations if you are adopting a child. And by that I mean there were times like when we first adopted her that it honestly felt like we were just babysitting someone else's child, and the parents were just going to come and pick her up at any time. That's really how it felt at first.
I remember at one point when she was having a temper tantrum, I just went into the bedroom, closed the door, cried, screamed into a pillow. And then I collected myself and came back out and was ready to be your parent again. But you do need to realize that it's not all sunshine and roses at first, and you will have those breaking points, and it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. Just do it away from the kid. I have learned many things from Cilla. Probably the most important thing I've learned from Cilla is to be patient. Because when you raise a spirited child, you need to learn to control your own temper. I actually never thought I had a temper before I had Cilla. And so you actually realize that you do have a temper. And then you have to learn how to control it. Because when she's freaking out, you can't freak out. It makes me upset when I feel like other people are judging. That's what makes me upset. And Cilla can't see that now. She doesn't notice it now. But my concern is that she will become isolated when she starts school. And all these other kids can talk fluently and they can run fluently without falling over, because that's a big issue with her balance. I'm afraid that she's going to become more isolated as she gets older, and she's still behind her peers. And then they're going to start judging her. There are some people that will put information out there that is there to scare you. It's not always accurate. They may paint your child as being something that your child isn't, because after all, your child is your child. Your child isn't the label. The label is important, but your child is much more than the label. Substance abuse, it's a dirty word. Nobody wants to have the child that's come from a parent that's done drugs. It's still very, very ostracizing. Like it's a dirty word. You don't talk about your kid that's been exposed to drugs. I felt like I needed to tell some of the parents, you know, like, listen, don't judge her. She's been through HE double hockey sticks and back. It was not her fault. And she's doing everything that she can to overcome it. You know, she was in the NICU for 4 weeks on morphine, in pain, screaming. She couldn't be consoled. The nurses had a heck of a time. You know, and it breaks my heart just thinking about it, that we couldn't be there for her, you know. And so when she's freaking out like that in class, part of me goes, Cilla, you need to behave. And part of me goes, you know what? You go. You know, you fight, because you know what? Nobody's been through this. And they have no right to judge her for freaking out. Because, you know, she's been through a lot in her young years. You know, she suffered 2 losses. She's, you know, been through incredible pain. You know, when we first adopted her, we couldn't even hug her because she was still remembering that pain. Things I do to take care of myself so that I'm a better parent for Cilla. There's the running. The running is very important because it releases adrenaline, but it also dopamine, right? Like, so it's a great way of releasing that energy. And when you're angry, it's great to go out for a run because by the time you come back, you're not angry anymore. We try to go on dates at least once a month. We haven't been on one in a while, but usually we try to go at least, you know, once a month because it's important that we get out and that Cilla gets used to being taken care of somebody else as well. But just that we can get out and we can kind of, oh yeah, we're also an entity here without Cilla.
The greatest joy for me in terms of raising Priscilla has just been seeing her personality blossom. You know, when she came to us, we knew certain traits of her personality, like she could be very strong-willed and very headstrong, and that's made it challenging to parent her in one sense, but in another sense, I love how she's such a strong person. And I can kind of see, you know, sometimes I get glimpses when I look at her at the person she's going to become, or, you know, when she's an adult. And I think she's going to do great things.